I think that every one of us at some point in life must have felt that we are wasting our time. Now, if it is your own realization, then it's perfectly fine to ponder over it. However, if people around you are making you feel as if you're wasting your time, then you should really question it. Rather than feeling bad about yourself or thinking as if something is wrong with you, your interest should lie in finding out that what do people mean when they say that you're wasting your time. So let's try to understand together that what does wasting time actually mean. You see, we all have been advised time and again that the most precious of all the thing is time. Now, if something becomes precious and valuable, then it is natural. Losing it will certainly become the biggest of all the crimes. And that's the reason why people simply pounce on you the moment they find that you're simply fooling around for no particular reason. But if you dig a little deeper into people's concern, you will find that when people say that you're wasting your time, they simply mean that you could have filled it up with something valuable. So time has no intrinsic value. You add value to it by filling it up with something which you believe to be of value. For example, we all have heard the saying that time is money. Time is not money. You value money and you spend your time in its pursuit. If someone values money, success or fame, from that person's point of view, if you are not pursuing these things, then you're simply wasting your time. So wasting time is really a subjective experience because what we value differs from each other. Just the other day, I came across a quote from John Lennon that the time that you enjoy wasting is not really a wasted time. Now, for a person who worships money, success and fame, this quote will simply become sacrilegious. Why? Because it goes against his value systems. But for John Lennon, enjoyment is a higher value than money. For John Lennon, time is not money, time is enjoyment. And if you are really enjoying your time, then you are not really wasting it. So instead of being concerned about wasting time, we should rather question our value systems. What should we value in our life? And firstly, where do our value system stem from? You see, our basic necessity in life is to survive. And as human beings, we are hardwired to value things that support our survival, be it food, money, shelter, and all the rest of it. Animals also do the same thing. When we say that time is money, we simply mean that our primary concern in life is survival. And money is needed to survive in the human world. We are no more living in the jungles. We are no more hunting for our survival needs. We have to live in the cities. We have to get our food. We have to get the clothing and the shelter, and money is needed for that. So money is synonymous with survival. If you don't have plenty to eat, if you don't have a roof over your head, then your interest can never go higher. A John Lennon can value enjoyment because money is not a scarcity for him. He can value enjoyment because he doesn't really need to worry about his survival needs. However, I don't deny his intelligence. Not everyone can value enjoyment. There are people who have enough to survive their whole lifetime, but still their interest in money, power, and prestige never fades away. Just like animals, they are stuck in the survival zone and they will remain there for their whole life without experiencing anything more. And the more is what makes us human. We are born as pure potentials. In us lie the seed of being higher than gods and lower than animals. And the choice is really ours, whether we want to live like animals or we want to realize the optimum potential of being human beings. Don't you think that once our survival needs are taken care of, our interest should go beyond mere survival needs? I think that it is of utmost importance to go beyond the survival needs, to experience the beauty of being a human. Now, coming to the value of enjoyment. When John Lennon says that the time that you enjoy wasting is not really a wasted time, he is actually right. But our interpretation can go wrong. Because what is enjoyment to a lot of us? Drinking, smoking, and indulging in all kind of pleasures? Do we know of anything else? No. It's very rarely that a person becomes interested in anything higher, the higher ecstasies of life. Most of the times we just want to satisfy our immediate need of pleasures. And indulging in pleasure will just make you a mere hedonist. Indulging in pleasure will make you more dull in your life, more egoistic in your life. Haven't you seen a child who cries for a toy? The child wants the toy as badly as adults we want money, power, or fame. And both remain dependent on some extrinsic source of pleasure. If denied, that very pleasure becomes the source of our pain and anguish. So indulging in pleasure is not enjoyment. There is a joy which is not dependent on anything. It just springs from within. It's an intrinsic part of being alive. And when it comes to the question of what should we value in life, the very question seems to be absurd. Because what value can you add to life? Life is intrinsically valuable. And no values created by men can ever become higher than the men. Just like an artist's creation can never become greater than the artist. So life is intrinsically valuable. And if you value life, first and foremost, you will have a reverence and respect for your own life. Then all the extrinsic values like money, fame, prestige, power will lose all the meaning. Living with freedom will have a meaning. Living with joy will have a meaning. Living with harmony, peace will have a meaning. These are the intrinsic values of your life. And if anything takes away these intrinsic values, then you're wasting your time. If anything takes away your freedom, then you're wasting your time. If anything takes away your joy, then you're wasting your time. If you're not peaceful within, then you're wasting your time. And if you're not living with harmony with your fellow beings, with nature, then you're wasting your time. You see, our values are based on adding something to life. We spend time so that we can decorate our ego, to add money, to add fame, to add success. Even the joy that we know of is something that we add through some activity in time. But there is a joy which is a natural consequence of being alive and throbbing with love. And if you're alive, if you're aware, then you don't need to add anything else to it. You only add something if there is a lack and insufficiency. And life is full. There is no insufficiency. If you can live with this fullness, then you won't need anything else to add to life. Then you don't need any extrinsic value. So drop all the ideas of adding value to your life. So next time if someone says to you that you're wasting your time, or even if the idea arises within that you're wasting your time, introspect, scrutinize, have another look at your life. Ask yourself, are you really wasting your time on something which has no intrinsic value? Remember, in life everything has an extrinsic value as well as an intrinsic value. Always choose the intrinsic. For example, if you are a CEO of a company, you will have some extrinsic values to it as well as intrinsic value. Prestige, position, admiration are the extrinsic values, and enjoying your job is the intrinsic value. The criteria is very simple. Always choose the intrinsic. If anything takes away your intrinsic value, then it is not worth doing. Then you are simply wasting your time. So if you are not enjoying your job, even though it brings you a lot of money, a lot of security, a lot of admiration from other people, it is not worth doing. You are simply wasting your time and your life. And lastly, I want to say that it might have appeared to you that I have made it a little complex, but it was needed. Because most of the times we are just dealing with every problem in our life at a very superficial level. For example, if someone says to you that you're wasting your time, you immediately start doing something. You get busy without even realizing that what you are doing has any value or not. So my approach is to always go to the very root of the problem. Instead of dealing with it at a very superficial level, we should always go to the very depth of the problem. And that's what I have been trying to do through all these videos. So I hope that you had an insight into what wasting time is, and you are going to do something about it. You're going to introspect, you're going to inquire, what does wasting time actually mean?